Ooh, my shoulders are feeling good.
Huh?
My shoulders.
What? Ciao. Okay. Trying to get to the live so I can share it. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And please share. Why is it doing this? This is what's interesting. For some reason, it's not allowing me to, that's real interesting. Every time I hit share, I'm just gonna have to copy the link and go back. We're gonna give everyone a few seconds to come on in. Please share to your pages if you don't mind, so that we can have some great interaction. Sister, let me post this and then you can take it away.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hello, 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 everyone. Thanks for joining.
Guys.
Please share to your pages if you do not mind, so that people will know that we are starting this conversation right now.
Going to be interesting, as always.
All right. Okay. So take it away, Sissy.
Hey, y'all. Good evening, good people. So today is going to be some interesting subjects. We have a few things that we are going to be discussing, but it's going to be related to about relationship experts and some of the controversy around that, and also some positive things about relationship experts as well. You have some really great ones out there. You have some ones that you want to give kind of the side eye to. The great Kevin Samuels in his controversial video that recently went viral. We will be discussing that, as well as, based on that viral video, the list of what people put on or have that they want in a partner. And basically, what is your list? Does your list, is it realistic? Is it picky? Is it surface? Is it deep? Like, what do you compare to create as far as what you want in a partner? So, all right. So,
Right.
let's talk about the relationship experts and kind of go down the list of like the popular ones that we know of. I know me and you both, sis, we like to look at the videos and we'll like call each other. We'll send each other videos that were really good. We'll send each other videos that be like, what the hell?
Okay.
So, who is your favorite one, sis?
I have a few regulars, and that would be in no order of, favorites, but R.C. Blake's, who is a minister, but he's just real talk, flat out. Kev Hicks, he's another very direct one. Stefan Speaks, he's another one of my favorites, and then Tony Gaskins. Those are my four that I typically make the rounds, because I think they're awesome. They give some good advice. I don't agree with everything that anybody says, but they usually are pretty on point for me and always gives me something to think about, and just some good, wisdom from a man's point of view, in my opinion.
So, do you think these videos are needed specifically for women?
Yeah. Yes, for a couple of reasons. I think that some women simply don't have men in their lives that they can glean information from, because let's just be real, men and women do approach relationships and do think differently in general. So we, it helps to not assume that we know, because we're looking through our own lenses. And so we're women though. So men a lot of times they may be thinking completely differently than we are. And I think for, both you and I have resources. We have strong male figures in our lives, from our father to our brother, just on and on. But it still also helps to get outside, advice, from someone that doesn't know us from a can of paint, and
Right.
just, this is what's in general. So it kind of helps to confirm, helps to give you something else to think about. I think a lot of women do need that. And it does challenge us sometimes, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Because I really wasn't into relationship experts or even looking those things up, honestly, until you started telling me about it and sending me videos. I do like Tony Gaskin, even though he's long-winded and country. Broke, what do you say? Broke, busted and disgusted. Looking busted and disgusted. Now, that term.
Yes, he has so many isms. He has so many, and I love his, like, he does little skits, and it's like, I really don't think he is trying to be funny. Like, he's always saying, he's a, y'all think I'm, but he's really just, that's him. So it's very, I like authentic people. And I would say all four of them to me are very authentic. I just feel that they are. So
yeah, from listening to him, and I started listening to other relationship experts, and it has opened my eyes on how to kind of communicate with men and understand the way that men think, and just how they process things. And yes, we do have our father and our brother who, gives us great advice as well, but hearing it from the outside and men giving it to us raw, because of course, like, they're going to protect our feelings. So they're going to tell us in kind of a sugary way, not like that.
Sometimes.
They're going to be like, that nigga don't like you. You need to go ahead. He's not into you, Karen. Okay, move on.
Yeah.
Girl, maybe you should just, he'll say it, even though daddy is pretty much straightforward, but he's not going to give it to us where it's just going to make us crumble.
Right.
Where these other relationship experts, they do tell you things that sometimes is a hard pill to swallow, to let you know, oh God, that was my fault. I've realized a lot of things, a lot of my ways on how I communicate with men, or my expectations on their actions, is based on a woman's point of view. And I'm getting women's advice on how to handle a man when they don't even know themselves. So it's just like, I like having my girlfriends and, the support, but I don't necessarily go to them for the way that a man thinks, or how to necessarily handle a man, because like, we're all still trying to figure that out. And it's a case by case basis. It matters of what type of personality you're dealing with. So, and it actually has helped me to not be so ultra sensitive on a lot of things. Not saying they can be disrespectful, because they cannot. Just like the way that they communicate, or the way they move, it's not gonna be like on what you see on TV. Like, you can tell when, I guess, not trying to be sexist, but you can kind of tell if it's like a woman writer versus a male writer on some of the because it's like, when you look at it and you kind of understand what a male's point of view is, you're like, where is he? Because I don't know where he's at. He sounds great, but I seriously doubt this is what this is a common thing,
Yes, this is the fantasy we have in our mind that we wish the man would be like, the fantasy version. So
exactly. Like, when I see, even though there are some men who are romantic, I think that's also something that was taught to them as well. It's not something that came like supernatural. So when I see like someone on a beautiful picnic with a guy, I'm like, she either planned that or he got some help, because necessarily they want to do nice things. It's just like those type of things that we think that men should already know, or know what to do, or even the way they communicate, or how they feel is not necessarily the same. So the relationship experts, I do agree with you. is definitely needed, especially even if you have a male figure in your life or not. It's just being able to get all points of views on how men think and what men need is definitely something that women need help with.
And I think that a good thing to keep in mind, and what I try to keep in mind, is that even though they are relationship experts, gurus, or they're coming from their experience, they still don't speak for every single man. You know, that's one thing that I've learned. Like, even though they are men, men are different. Just like women can't be cookie cut, men are not cookie cut either. So it's like, it's a good, I think, base, something to glean from. But it's like, when you get a real man in front of you, you literally have to, like, okay, get to know him for and discover him for himself, and not automatically apply all of the what Tony Gaskin said, well, RC Blake said, said, you know, because it may not apply to that particular man, you know. So
Case by case basis.
It is.
Well, speaking of which, as far as the relationship experts and not necessarily taking everything they say, and kind of, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt sometimes, like Kevin Samuels, controversial video. Let's kind of chime into that. So basically, there's a video out, and it's called Your Average at Best, that he was talking to another young lady, and she basically said that she has her own business and she wants a six-figure guy, and she wants to date, she keeps dating down, and she wants to date a guy on her level. He basically, in a really rough way, told her that she's pretty much average, and what she's wanting is not what she can get, and that she put herself as a 5, and that's what she'll get. So she needs to pretty much accept the way she looks. So he's an image consultant, and that's how he thinks he can get away with his assholism. But by him saying, "Oh, I'm an image consultant. It's all about the image for me," and I get that, but I mean, damn, he kind of was rough with her. So I'm gonna play a little clip of what he said for you guys. Hopefully, you can hear it, and we're going to kind of chime in and give kind of like a little bit of our feedback. This is towards the end. This was the rough part. Like, there was more. It was a 23-minute video. So the beginning of the video, he did ask her a lot of questions as far as what she desired, what she did for a living, and all this stuff. But I honestly think that he also went really in on her, because she came in saying that it was supposed to be a video about a disagreement of something that he said. And she was like, "Well, I don't really disagree. I just need your help." And he was like, "Oh, so you just chimed into my video." Yeah. And you're turning the subject around. So I think he went for the jugular more so for that reason. He was irritated. Okay. Let's go.
Necessarily 20-year-olds are not necessarily attracted to 45-year-olds.
Bullshit. I'm 51 and I can't beat him off with a stick. That's another one of you lies. No, younger women are attracted to older men. What are you talking about?
So can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So do you feel like a woman like me?
Uh-huh. What would you rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? You cannot use 7.
Would I rate myself?
Just your face.
My face, when I wake up, 5, but when I put myself together, 6.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'5".
Dress size.
I'm sorry?
Your dress size.
Okay.
Okay. So that makes you, if you give yourself a 5, that's average.
Yes.
So average looking women tend not to get high earning men. They tend to get average men.
So,
stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Breathe and digest. You're 35 years old, and you can look around and see the world. You don't tend to see higher earning men with average looking women. Off rip. If you do see them, they got They got their average looking woman when they were both really young and he built his way up. But a man earning the kind of money you're talking about does not go for an average looking woman.
I mean, my body is not average, so.
But ma'am, you please don't make me say it.
Say what? I really just wanted some advice. I love your.
Yeah, I'm giving you advice, but you're not taking it. The advice is, ma'am, you're average looking at best.
I'm taking it in, but.
Okay, but you're not accepting the fact that, okay. Average looking woman.
Hold on.
Average looking woman who's.
That is freaking brutal. I cringe. I cringe every time I see that.
It's rough. It's pretty rough. But so we looked at the video, me and you did, from the beginning to the end. And when he was initially asking her the questions, and she was like, she owns like a dog grooming business. And
let me say, I didn't see all 22 minutes.
Okay.
I saw the clip that was circulating with that piece. Let me just be honest. I haven't seen the whole 22.
Yes. So first of all, I would never talk to Kevin Samuels for advice. One, I don't know why these women keep going on there and getting ripped to shreds. He literally rips them to shreds. Honestly, some of the stuff that he says, I don't necessarily disagree with some of the stuff that he says. His delivery is just really, really rough and disrespectful.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really hard to hear or take his advice, because it's just like, it's so disrespectful. So that woman, he don't know what the hell she been going through. Obviously, he don't care, and to just be like, your face, like he basically was telling her you're ugly, like you're not ugly, but you're not an attractive woman. So the men that you're saying that you want is not going to be attracted to you. Now, she's not 100% innocent, because her delivery on what she was saying was very set up-ish. To be talking to a man like Kevin Samuels and the stuff that she was saying at the beginning of the video, she kind of set herself up, because what she said was, I date below me. And she was like, and I keep dating men who are below me. And he was like, you keep saying below you, like what's below you? And she was like men who, don't have businesses. And he was like, well, to me, a business is a job. So if they have a job, and he was like, she said that she wanted a six-figure guy. And he said, do you know anyone who makes six figures? And she said, well, my dad and my uncle. And he was like, no. Do you know men outside of your family that make six figures? And she was like, no. And he was like, well, you're not even surrounded by men who make six figures. And she was like, yeah, but like the men that I meet is mostly online. And he was like, okay, again, like the men who are approaching you are men who are not making six figures. That's not the type of men you're attracting. So why does that number matter? Why do you need a guy who's making six figures? Then he asked her if she went to college, and she said no. Then he asked her if she had kids, and she wanted kids, and she said yes, but she has a 13-year-old. So he basically, she was speaking in a way on talking down on men who didn't make six figures. And he kind of went in on her, because he was like, boo, you asking for something that you not even really, but the stuff that you are offering isn't quote unquote quality either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, well, this is the thing. And I think this is something we briefly talked about maybe in the last discussion, how women identify their value, their own value and their quality, and how they present themselves to men. Right. In her mind, she did set herself up, but because she really exposed what she thinks about herself, she sees her value in the fact that she makes six figures, and she thinks that a man will be impressed that she's an entrepreneur and she makes six figures, and she's doing well for herself financially. That's nothing to sneeze at as a single parent, all of that. I applaud her for that. But it shows the mindset of what I said before. Men do not care. Typically, especially men that have their own, okay, they don't care how much money you are making. That is not what they're looking for in terms of a woman.
Right.
So unfortunately for her, she led with that, and he swallowed her up based on what she said first, because in her mind, that was the value. Oh, I'm 6 figures. Then if the man doesn't have 6 figures, that's below me.
Right. And she kept saying, I've been dating below me. And she was basing that off of the salary. And so, what's funny is, like, when I was listening to him, I wasn't, because I saw it from beginning to end. And at first I was like, sis, you're setting yourself up. But then we the jugular, in which that's what's been playing. It was just, it was very rough. But honestly, she might have needed to hear that a little bit, not necessarily in that way, but she kind of needed to understand that you're asking. I don't think he should have been like your average at best. I think he should have been like, you need to dig a little bit deeper on what type of man you want, meaning you need to look within yourself, like you were saying. Like, she is basing her value off of a salary, off of a number. Like, the first thing that she said, she didn't say anything as far as what she can offer as a woman, who she is, all these things. It was, I have my own dog grooming business, and that's why I need a 6-figure man. And that's pretty much all. That is all she said about herself. So it's like, even if a man did meet her, he was a 6-figure man, because she's not a bad looking woman. He's an asshole for that. She's not a bad looking woman. Mm-hmm. Even if it was a guy who made the income that she wanted and he was a good quality guy, the way that she's coming off and the way that she's presenting herself that's not a good representation of you saying, well, yeah, I need me a 6-figure man, because it just sounds very surfaced and very materialistic, what else do you desire,
Yeah, well, I think that it was very telling in terms of her own self-image when he didn't tell her she was a 5.
Right.
She said she was a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very telling, her own self-image, by the fact that she led with her money, her salary, as why she was, I guess, high value in her mind. Mm-hmm. And then when he asked her to rank herself and she said 5, and then when she fixes herself up, a 6, I will say it till the wheels fall off. Won't nobody ever get me to rank myself. Are you crazy? No. That is, first of all, I'm not a slave on the auction block. I told you how I feel about that. I feel it's very slave mentality, this whole rating junk, like, turn around, let me see, open your mouth, let me see how good your teeth are. All of that, that's slave mentality. Right. And she should have, honestly, she should have never called in. I don't get it when these people, period. Now, we as women got very pissed off at him about how he got drugged for not liking women, not liking Black women, just being completely a asshole, as you said. And I do feel like he is, honestly, I do feel like he is. However, I have since, like the video that I sent you earlier, they played a clip of him going in on some men. Mm-hmm. He is a equal opportunity asshole.
He started off with the men. That's who he was an image consultant to, was the men. And that is what he said on the video. Like, he was like, people are just going off of the recent videos that I've done. He's like, I just started talking with women, but I've been talking with men and talking this way with men for years, Yeah. So yeah. I think he has to understand he is talking to women now, not men. So the delivery doesn't necessarily have to be the same. Like, know your audience, like. Yeah,
well, and that's the part to me that this is why I don't care how much truth he speaks, because yes, sometimes he does, I'm not saying that he doesn't speak some truth or give some, some type of wisdom. He's not my style. Right. Like, I could never receive from him. I would never ask him for advice. I don't want to hear his advice. Right. I did, after I got a little bit more of his background, like when I first became aware of him, it was before this viral video, but it was still a pretty cringe-worthy video that I saw of his, to the point that I told them to remove him from my YouTube feed. You know how they give you suggestions? I removed him. I was like, I don't want to see this dude. And this was before this viral video. I was like, he was irking me every time. I don't like his delivery. I don't like his approach. I think that under the guise of keeping it real, he's very rude. And I think that honestly, he's probably one of those kids that was either bullied or had just some type of horrible background. Maybe he got crushed by a woman and now he's wielding his revenge.
He was average at best, or was one of them men that they say was dating below. Because he's a super flashy guy. Like, his representation isn't the best representation, and his delivery is rough as hell. And I do agree. It's hard to look at his videos. A lot of men like him because they're like, oh, he's speaking the truth. He's saying a lot of stuff that we can't say, So I do chime in a little bit on his videos on just to see why men like him so much, because apparently he's speaking a lot of the way they think and what they want to say. So it's just like, okay, this is how y'all really think. My God.
Well, you know what? And in all fairness, there are a lot of, I won't use the word a lot, but there are some shallow women. Okay, any woman that they major on how much a man makes, and I'm talking about to the extent of like you got to be 6 feet, 6 feet with a 6-pack and making 6 figures. That whole idea. That is what men are offended by, because many of them do not fit that criteria. If they got the money, they don't have the height. If they don't have, you know what I mean? Like if they got the height and the money, they may not have, they may be big. They don't have a 6-pack, so it's one thing or another that they're lacking, that they have been made to feel this is where their value lies. And so for the men that are focusing on that, they happy that these women are getting got, especially the ones that are focusing on that. The issue is there are many of us that are not like that. There are many of us that are not like requiring, like, you got to make 6 figures and all that stuff. We're requiring you be self-sufficient, that we're requiring you not be a bum. We're requiring you to have some type of ambition about yourself, but, you got to make this particular dollar amount. Many women are not like that, but if you're going for the what do you call it? The tight waist and the big booty and the Instagram model type, then you get what you get. Because if that's what she's on and she don't have her own money, then you get what you get. You know what I mean? So I just think that, go ahead.
Attraction is important. I mean, that's one of the first things that makes you even want to talk with someone or connect with someone, is because you are attracted to someone. So there's nothing wrong with you. You like what you like. If you don't like them big, you don't like them big. If you don't like them short, you don't like them short. You like what you like. But you also, if you get that tall man with the salary who treats you like shit and you stick with him because he has those 2 checks, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when you are shallow, because
you are already shallow, because or else you would have known that this wasn't the man for you, but you just stuck with him for those superficial reasons.
Exactly. So has anyone said anything in the comments yet?
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next subject, let's see what they got to say.
Okay. Well, they were chiming in on just the video. Alexa says that was painful to watch. Kendra says he crushed her soul.
Yeah.
Jan says that dude is an idiot. Jonathan says, yeah, he's an idiot and self-centered. Alexa says, I don't think he actually likes women. It's questionable. And I'm sorry, he's in Atlanta. Enough said. I'm just saying.
He's been divorced twice. So that's why he calls himself an image consultant, because he ain't no damn relationship expert, okay?
Right. I didn't even know until today how he identified himself, quite honestly. Right. I didn't know. Shan said the fact that women ask his opinion, his advice is baffling. I agree. Why would you do this? But again, this goes back to, think about the type of woman, especially if she's familiar with him, that would subject herself to that. it's because maybe she has, number one, a faulty image of herself. Again, this young lady, I'm sure she came on there thinking, you know, I done did my makeup, I done snatched my wig, I make 6 figures, I'm all that.
Yeah.
And he just chipped her away in a matter of 22 minutes. You know, it's just ridiculous. Kendra said, right, she did set herself up, but he dropped her on he dropped her on her face. I wonder how she's doing today. Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a viral video. So that's a hard pill to swallow, because I'm sure when she looked at that video and heard herself, she might have cringed a little bit as well, you know, because it was the stuff that she was saying was just like, sis, you kind of sound like you're 16. You know what I mean? You sound very immature. You're saying your 35-year-old woman has a 13-year-old son who has this business going for her, and all you can come up with is the reason why your relationships aren't working out is because you need someone with 6 figures. That's not why your relationships aren't working out.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Alexis says, I agree, his delivery is trash. Could never fully receive anything coming out of his mouth because I would murder his soul verbally. He's not the only one who could be cruel.
Is that Alexis Corbett? Is that Alexis
Yes,
Corbett?
yes.
She could definitely murder his soul, probably just with a stare, child.
Right. I mean, really.
Blink, child.
Exactly. Yeah. He would definitely make me come up out of my skin if I had any interaction with him.
It's like, what the hell do you think you are?
Right. I'm looking at, because honestly, okay, we got a couple more comments, but let me pause real quick on that. When he said to her, the part of the clip I saw, when she puts herself together, she's a 6 or whatever. And at some point he said that he talked about that she has all this makeup on, she has a wig, all that kind of stuff, and was basically saying that if you were really, you know, beautiful or whatever, that you wouldn't have all of that on. You're not a natural beauty.
Your Louis Vuitton raggedy country.
That's what I was going to say. If you look at him, if he let go 2 weeks without getting your hair lined up, take off that expensive suit, take off them glasses. Let's just see you if you were walking down the street with just a regular Walmart warm up on or something like that.
And you were not Kevin Samuels, and you did not have these viral videos where you're known. Who are you?
Exactly. Who are you? And would you be?
Yeah. It's like, who are you to give image consulting advice? Like, where are you getting your information from? Especially if you're saying this for women. Like, he's saying from a man's point of view, but what type of men are you talking about? Because not all men who are on that level need a 10 or someone who looks like, quote unquote, Kim Kardashian or Holly Berry or whatever you want to base it off of. You know, some men, they don't care about that. Like, of course they want to be attracted to you, but it doesn't, his image of what is beautiful is not necessarily every man's image. So she might be beautiful to another man who makes 6 figures. You know, I want to know what he's basing that off of. Maybe
he's basing it on, honestly, I feel like that he's the typical dude that swallows the European standard of beauty image that is in the media. That's what he's basing it on. Because, you know, and this is why as Black women, a lot of times we've had this kind of, you know, struggle with even our own men seeing our value and our beauty, because it is not the European standard. Now, a lot of brothers, and because thank God that there's a lot that see us and see our beauty, but unfortunately in the mainstream, then what's the narrative that's being pushed is that the black woman is on the bottom of the totem pole in terms of beauty. And so, you know, we've actually had to flip that around. And I think the more vocal Black men are about that, then the more that narrative will spin, because a lot, like you said, a lot of them do not think that way, but the louder voices are voices like this that's going to tell you that, because you don't, you know. Now if she was sitting up there looking like a mixed chick, a beautiful mixed chick, because let's keep it real, it don't matter if you're mixed, that don't automatically mean you're beautiful, quote unquote, you know. So I'm just saying that I bet his energy would have been different.
Right.
Let's keep it real. So, hey sis, T just hopped on. Okay, Kendra said, sis, after my divorce, I'm requiring everything with many laughy faces. Okay, I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
Just saying.
Daddy said a lot of men like Trump for the same reason. Some men define their masculinity by how well they bully others. Yeah. And that's why I said his delivery. What did you say?
That's why we're wondering if he likes women.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, there's a couple, some of just mannerisms, all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying some of it is suspect. But the other thing is, again, it seems like that you, even in your truth, you don't have to be cruel. You don't have to crush someone's soul. And I know that it's kind of like, oh yeah, he's, his cruelness is actually what caused this to go viral. But there's other, like Stefan Speaks is nothing to sneeze at. He has over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he honestly has not been on YouTube that long. But his delivery is not, but he keeps it real. In my opinion, he keeps it real. He's not coddling to women or whatever, and he makes videos for men and women, but he started out mostly with women. But I'm just saying that it doesn't have to be that. And again, everybody's free to be who they want to be, but this is why there's a lot of women that don't like him and question whether he likes them, or likes us. So yeah. So do you think that, so the parts that regardless of his delivery, the parts that, we kind of briefly talked about, that there is possible truth in, the list, the expectations, the realisticness of expectations. What do you think about that part?
I think everybody has their list. Like my list is very different from what it was in my 20s versus now that I'm in my 30s. I think your list comes off of experience, growth, maturity. She obviously has a lot of growing to do because her list is based off of a salary, and a lot of growing within herself. I've done a lot of the internal work. I've been through heartbreak. I've dated different men on different spectrums and statuses, and every status has been disappointing, and every status has been very, nice. So because of that, my list is just, it's more of an internal situation. It's more of what I look for as in a husband, not for like a surface type thing. Like, oh, he got to have this size house. He got to have this, type of car, this, that, all that surface BS that he can lose within a blink of an eye. Would I still want to be with him? Because a lot of people don't understand, like, we are in America. So everything that he has, he can lose very quickly, anything can happen. So if you're with that man for his money or for what he has materialistic wise, and all those things go away and you look at him, do you still love him? Like, do you still want to be with him? Are you guys best friends? Are you able to go through certain things? So it's just like, there are certain characteristics that are important to me. Characteristics in who you are as a person trumps the height level. Now, I don't want no little person. I don't want no little person hugging my thighs. Nothing against little people, but I cannot do it. I have my limits. Another thing that's really important to me is, the way that a man takes care of himself. And I'm not talking about the way you dress. I am talking about, are you healthy? Do you care about what's going on internally? Do you care about your organs? Do you care about, your health? Do you exercise? Are you active? And it's just because those are things that are important to me specifically. I am not one of them people who's sitting on the couch eating potato chips all day watching TV and saying, I want a man who got a six-pack. No, I'm actually in the gym constantly and being very active to try to stay healthy. And I honestly want that within my partner, to someone so we can do those things together. That's ideal. So it's just those are the type of things that I base what I can offer and what I would view what I want how I view my life and what my life is now. I would like to incorporate that with someone else, and he doesn't have to exactly be like me, but just like commonality, things that we like to do together. So, but I do have my deal breakers. I do. So I can't do no nasty, messy, disgusting man. Like your house is stank and you got old food everywhere, your carpet dirty, that means your drawers is dirty, got stains.
Yeah. I think that I went through, before I was married, I've always been the type that, I analyze, I research everything in life, period. And so before I got married, I was the type that matter of fact, in my library, my home library, I have a row of relationship books. It's probably more than just a row, but specifically relationships books that I've collected over the years, because I'm always trying to gain knowledge and always trying to glean knowledge. And I remember that I was told, and I think it was Monty who told me this, he was like, stop reading them books. he basically was like that, that's going to send you off, because it's putting a false sense of something. You need to basically when you come across the real person, because right now, if just the books, it can be very idealistic and fantasy, and I am a creative, so my imagination is on 10 already, and then you add to it the additional knowledge of reading all types of books, reading all types of stories, getting advice, all that kind of stuff. And so I've always been that type of person that's now switched to YouTube gurus or whatever. But I do, after having now been married, it's a completely different energy about it, because I have my own experience. And what I did learn is you can do all of that, but when you meet a real person, that junk will fly out the window, because especially when you have a genuine heart connection, you have a genuine connection with the person, then it's kind of like, now you almost have to start from scratch, because this is a real person. And if you are drawn to them in a way, then it's kind of like you're all of those, like boxes that you were checking, and that and the list, that starts to, like, okay, it doesn't completely go out the window, but it's more of a heart thing. And I think that's something that, especially for those of us, it's not me, because I have been married before, but those who have never been married, it's almost like you don't get it until you get it. You don't get it until you get it. And so for me, even after my divorce and everything, the last several years, for a long time, I did not have a list anymore. I was like, I'm not gonna say it like that, but I was like, I'm F the list, basically, because I felt like I did all of that before. I did all of that before, and I had to go through my healing. And then after my last situationship,
created, wasn't it? Okay,
girl, I pulled out my notebook and I said, okay, God, let's have a conversation. I think it's time for me to revisit the list. And I felt motivated. I felt moved to revisit the list, and I may have went a little bit overboard, because it was pretty extensive. But I will say, none of it there is nothing about
height,
a money requirement. There is nothing about a height requirement. There is nothing about any of that. It is all character, spirit, how I'm treated, how I feel with the person.
Yeah.
Those type of things, those are the things that are on my list. And I think that's the part that comes with maturity. Like you said, like, it's not the same as when I was in my 20s. I'm in my 40s, and I've had certain experiences, and I'm like, these are the things that are really important to me. Now, I think these in place the other things will come with it. You know what I mean? But they are not the priority to put on a list.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And sometimes, it's often at times when you have those surface things on your list, like I ain't gonna call the person out, but I know somebody who like a height requirement of 6'4". First of motherfucking all, that's not even an average height. Like, I get 6 feet, but 6'4", my Negro, like, and so you're like missing out on hundreds.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Good guys, because they're not 6'4", and this was something that they were a stickler to for a while. Now, I think they've grown and gotten past that, but it was like a really serious thing for that person. So you're passing up all these great men based on that one little thing that is not even important. It's not even something that it determines your happiness with them. But I am glad they grew out of it, because it was crazy.
I would hope that person was tall themselves, because
not
blank confused. Okay.
And so with that being said, like, other people who have a list, like, make sure that you're basing this off of what you want within your relationship, not how good it looks on Instagram. You know what I mean? Because some people who are on Instagram, who y'all like, oh, they make such a cute couple. He's so good looking. She's so good looking. Y'all don't know what the hell they're going through behind closed doors, you know? And it could be a good looking couple where they're blissfully happy, but you shouldn't base it off of that. Don't base it off what your Instagram pictures would look like and what your Christmas and holiday pictures would look like. Base it off of how he treats you. Is this husband material? Are you guys good friends? Like, is this someone that will be supportive? Those things are important within a relationship and with someone that you are growing with, and that's why Kevin Samuels went in on old girl in her 6 figures, because he's like, you sit here talking about you dating men below you, and the only thing you telling me on the reason why things aren't working is because they don't make 6 figures. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
We just
I have to say, I'm kind of concerned with all of the rhetoric that's out here on online, and by the fact that there's a lot of activity online between online dating, like you said, YouTube, people are following certain mindsets, on YouTube. I'm not fully clear on the whole red pill thing that is. But it's a mindset that some men are being attracted to, is some type of red pill movement. Basically, it feels like it's almost a response to like the Me Too, the women empowerment, the future is female type of mindset. It's like they're kind of like, we're fighting back, and we don't need them, this type of thing.
We need each other.
We do, and this is why it's so dangerous, I think, with some of these. So Kevin Samuels being, especially those people that are happy about how he has, his exchange with women in particular. Like, I acknowledge that I have seen clips of him, going in on men as well. So, like I said, he's equal opportunity, but the ones that have really stuck out, in particularly for us as women, is like, it does feel extra brutal. And there are men that have gravitated towards that. And I think that part of the thing is that maybe they have felt, disenfranchised. Maybe they have felt that they haven't been given a fair shot by women. Maybe they've been rejected a lot. And so now they are, you need to take them women down a peg or two or whatever. I think that whole energy is very dangerous and divisive, and I do acknowledge, yes, there are some women that are superficial, but I would say that there's also a lot of women who are not, and vice versa. There's some men that's not superficial, but I think that when you get into this, all of this rating stuff, and I literally am baffled by, I would never, I would never rate a man. I would, between, scale of 1 to 10, what is he? Don't ask me that question. I'm side-eyeing you. I would never rate a man like that. What my rating is how I connect to him, what I think about him. Am I attracted to him? I don't care what my sisters think. I don't care what my family. It's like, do I like him? Do I think he fine? Do I think he cute? At the end of the day, it's your choice. But if you're so superficial that you're so concerned about how you look to other people, then I would say you need to not get in a relationship with anybody and go do some internal work, because that is really a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So let's just chime in a little bit about Derrick. Is it Derrick Jaxn? Derrick Jaxn?
Derrick Jaxn, yeah.
Derrick Jaxn. And we don't even have to, we already know that relationship experts are human beings. They, you can't put them on that high of a pedestal where you think they're not able to make mistakes or whatever. The problem with Derrick Jaxn is, right, he's a cheater. The problem with Derrick Jaxn is he was going in so hard on everybody else, and like, women, y'all need to do this type of man and that type of man, when he was one of them raggedy men that he was talking about. And that's why all these memes, they are going really hard on him.
Yes.
Really hard. And a lot of things are coming out about him. And honestly, I don't look at his videos all the time. For me, Derrick Jaxn didn't really do it for me, because I did feel like he was somewhat of, I saw maybe a couple of his videos previous of all this stuff happening, and I thought he gave me a little bit of opportunist vibes, like, oh, he's trying to act like he's always on the woman's side, and he's fighting for the woman because whatever. But I gave him the side eye, and I was like, it sounds good. I don't know if you really, really believe what you're saying. You know what I mean? Right. And obviously,
it's in the eyes.
Yeah.
It's in the eyes. He always had dead eyes to me. I'm not trying to be funny. I look in people's eyes. Yeah. His eyes were always, they never looked sincere. They looked like he was just, his mouth was moving and the rest of his face, dead eyes.
Just like his explanation video, him talking really fast. None of it was making any sense. And there wasn't a lot of accountability until the second video, when his wife came on with her bonnet, holding his hand. And he's like, I now I'm going to acknowledge, what I'm doing. And it's a lot. And also, not to change the subject, but I really wish people would stop using religion as a reason for your cheating. I hate to bring up Pastor Gray, but I'm bringing up Pastor Gray. The first time he said, oh, the devil made me do it. The second time, listen, it's not always the devil. It's you thinking you can get away with the shit. You cheating, you do that, you're doing what you do, and you got caught. Usually when you get caught, some other shit happened previous to that, or it's still happening. And you didn't learn your lesson the first time, you continue to do this. And Derrick been with this woman forever. He purposely did not reveal her as much or had her on his videos to keep that little window open, and he got caught, so
Did you notice to me in the live that they did together, it seemed like he kept fishing for compliments from her. He was like, well, she just said her spiel. She just basically said everything. And then he's like, well, let me ask you this. Can you, how has the marriage been since that time? Have I? And I'm like, she just said how the marriage has been. So why are you asking her again? It's like, I guess she didn't kiss his butt enough, or she didn't make it very clear that he's like, this angel now. No, sir, sit there and take it. And this is why it was also suspect, And again, he was never one that, like, I had him, like, he would come up on my feed and all that kind of stuff, but he was never one that I really watched on a regular basis at all, because again, dead eyes, I never felt the sincerity. And I'm like, okay, maybe every now and then he'd say something, decent that I came across, but I heart touches heart. That's what I always say. I never felt that his heart was in it. I never, even though these other guys, they may have, courses and books and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, they come off straight authentic. They're not trying to kiss nobody, but they still gonna tell you, right, and then get my book. If they gonna still put that up there because they're businessmen as well. But with
Gaskin, he'll have his wife on the show, and they'll do things together. And one of the things I do love about Tony Gaskin is, he's a handsome guy, so I'm sure women be trying to slide in his DMs, and he always acknowledges how much he loves his wife.
Yeah.
He acknowledges how, what the work they needed to do to get to where they're at with their relationship, and how he did some messed up crap in order for him, for them to get together. And that's what I do appreciate, the realness on, and Derrick Jaxn didn't come off real. He always, he has narcissistic vibes, it's just like, even when did you see the third point when he was responding to himself on the video?
Yes, I saw that. I think he thought that would be clever. I think he deleted it after, because he got drug about that too. I think he thought, and again, that shows just some people, again, especially when they've been getting away with something for so long and they are used to manipulating people, they still don't know they stuff stank. You know what I mean? Like, because they've been getting away with it. So they just think that, and there is that segment of, the following that is going to be ride or die, no matter what he does, unfortunately. But, I just feel like that you're not doing the person, you're doing them a disservice, because he really needs to go sit down somewhere, do some stuff. If you really are saying that you're a believer now, that you done gave your life to the Lord and all this kind of stuff, go over there, go in the corner, build up your spirit, become the man you're supposed to be, deal with your family, and keep it real there. Get your butt offline.
And both of them do, because his wife is actually going overboard with it. Like, she's on, she's like, you sinners, and y'all need the Lord, and y'all coming to me. It's the devil. The devil is trying to use this opportunity. It's a lot. And
she's not ready. She's not ready to face it.
No, so both of them need to go ahead over there, fix your marriage, regardless on how many videos you put on Instagram or whatever. He's still raggedy, and your relationship needs work, period. So glad you are coming to the Lord, but you also need additional help and keep people out your business. Like, go ahead and go to the Lord with it and work on it,
Yeah.
That's just my spiel on the whole thing. So
yeah.
Do you have any comments?
There are a few more. Hey, Mom Michelle. Mom Michelle's on here. I guess in regards to the 6'4" comment, T said wishing for the NBA. She said with a laughing face. Yes, obviously, just say you want a basketball player, because that's the only people that's gonna be 6'4" and up. Kendra said, no, sis, dig in, base it off everything. Oh, dig in, base it off everything. I don't know what she was responding to, something. I'm not sure what that was responding to. Mom Michelle said, broke men plus broke women equal broke couple. No. Yeah, that's what I mean. Again, listen, we're not being, there are certain things that a certain lifestyle that I think everyone would like to live. And especially if you in your singleness are, you know, you are reaching for a certain lifestyle, then of course you don't want, when you connect your life to someone else, of course you don't want that to go down. You want to continue to get better. I think it's just in every way, it's not just, you know, whatever, but I think it's the motive of the heart, it's the mindset, it's like I said, the priorities. You know, if you so I'm going to ask you, for as someone who and we're hitting the hour now, so I guess we can take a few more minutes or whatever, but as someone who is, like you said, you know, health and fitness is important to you, you know, you are, you know, in the gym on a regular basis or whatever. What if you met a man who you had a connection with, he had many of the things that are on your list, but he's not a gym rat? He's not, you know, he's not, he's not just obese, but he's not in shape either. How would you handle something like that?
He doesn't have to be in shape. I don't mind a little fluff. You know. I don't mind it. What's important to me is that you take care of yourself. Like for me, my health and fitness started because my doctor said my blood pressure was going up too high. He was like, you have high blood pressure. Like you need to, whatever you need to do it, you know? So I started getting more into the working out, and then I got into cycling because of quarantine. I don't know how to stay my ass in the house. So I was like, I need to get outdoors. So it all started from different things that happened. It wasn't just because I was like, I want to be a gym rat. So if I can influence him in any type of way, he joins me, you know, that would be great. I just don't want him to be lazy. You know, I just want him to take care of himself, you know, even if he's active outside, you know, if you do stuff like work around the house, but I can't be with a man who just sits on the couch and eats potatoes all day, eat potato chips all day. That's my main thing. You don't have to be a gym rat like me, but you know, I don't like for life to just pass by watching television and sitting on the couch. I would desire someone who's active, you know, who's ambitious, who is going to wake up and like, you know what, I got a few things I need to do, run, whatever, you know, just do you, but just please don't be lazy. That's my main thing. You don't have to necessarily be. I would love for him to work out with me. I think that would be fun.
I think, and that's the thing. I think sometimes it's the balance when we're thinking about things on the list. I think it's the balance between the things that we desire, and of course, you would love for the person to be passionate and desire those same things as well. But sometimes, because we're all different and we have different, you know, backgrounds, priorities, all that kind of stuff, sometimes leaving that space for willingness, okay, for certain areas. And this is a conversation I have with myself too. So I'm not putting that out there for other people. It's like, where I feel like the man needs to be, you know, as passionate as I am about certain things, and where as long as he's willing to, and I'm talking about a genuine willingness, not like just while he's trying to get me while we're dating, and then as soon as he got me, he like, well, I ain't want to do that anyway, so I ain't doing it no more. You know what I mean? That's a difference, because sometimes you can expose somebody to something. So for instance, in this example, if it's a man that's not really a gym person or doesn't really work out, but he said, okay, I'm willing to go with you just for quality time, just because I know you want me to, but he making it clear that ain't his thing, but I'm going to go for you. Okay, baby, I'm going for you. But then he could very well, because of him being open to it, he may actually start liking it and beating you to the gym. You know what I mean? So I think that I think for me, one of the things is a spirit of openness. I think, you know, because sometimes, again, it may be something that, okay, this ain't part of my lifestyle. I don't really care for that or whatever.
Right.
You know, just being willing to embrace something that is someone else's life.
Right.
I think that that's the thing, as opposed to just, it's a hard fast, you got to be like this, you know?
Right. Yeah, because I definitely find myself personally more attracted to someone who's open, because I'm a very open person as well. So if you want to introduce me to something and teach me something new, I'm more than willing to try it out as long as my life ain't in danger. But a guy who's like super routine and stuck in his ways and is not willing to be open and try new things. Like, you know, I've met men who are like, I go to the gym on this time and I'm like, okay, well, I can join you at the gym. Would you be open to cycling with me? I don't do cycling. I don't like do it. It's like, well, dang, well, can we do something together that I like? Do you like cooking?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
that is something that is nice to have someone who's open to do different things with you or try it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't have any more comments, and we're a few minutes after the hour, so.
Well, next week we will not have a show because Sis will be out of town. But the week after that, we're going to pick right back up on Monday, and we will have a new topic that we will be discussing. But we hope you guys enjoyed the show. We appreciate you staying in this with us tonight and having the discussion. Please give us more feedback afterwards or share the video to family and friends, coworkers, whomever do you think that would enjoy it. So we appreciate you guys.
Yes. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Bye.